Whew. Man, it definitely feels like spring. Even though I've still got a woolly hat on, it's definitely so much warmer today. I think it's about 10 degrees. So I'm hoping to finish clearing the garden. Yesterday I cleared all of that kind of back row just to give me access to the veg boxes from behind. I've de-weeded a few of them, still need to do a few more, but apart from that it's getting there. I really want to tackle the polytunnel today just because it needs it. It needs a big clean and a good sort out in there. And then once that's ready I can start bringing up little seedlings, which will be great. Something else I want to get done today is tidy up underneath the tiny house, because hopefully, fingers crossed, in 2 weeks time it will be being moved, and there's lots of boxes of wood under there and so on, so that they'll need sorting out. But apart from that, I've got the whole day ahead of me. It's about 10:30, so that's my plan for today. Good morning from the woods. I thought I'd come down here to sow the rest of my April seeds and also sow some more of my March seeds again, just because some of those failed. This time I've got some actual soil, because the soil I was using last time was from like an old strawberry box. The soil wasn't, not that soil gets old, but I like to think that it still had enough nutrients in it to help the seedlings, but I guess not. So I went and bought some new compost. So this is apparently John Inn's #1 for soil-based compost for young plants. So hopefully this will help my seeds. So yeah, this is the rest of my March seeds. A part of me is tempted just to sow them directly, and I might do that because I have a really big old window frame which I might put over the top of one of the veg boxes, maybe two, and just sow the seeds directly, and just maybe put up some slug deterrents. So I'm going to sow my April seeds, and then I'm going to go back through my March seeds and pick the ones which didn't do so well. So this is just a collection of random seeds that I've just been given over the years, things I've bought and things. Like this is, I think, a lily. My grandma gave me the seed head and I thought I would dry the seeds out and try having a go. But yeah, it's really random. These are all flowers which I might sow out directly when the weather gets a bit warmer. This is a layout of my intended garden, what I'm planning to do. So I've got a rough idea there. I have some cactus plants or seedlings, which I think I will just try at some point. These were given to me. It's not something I'd normally buy, but I thought I'd give it a go. Dum-ba-dum. And then there's random bits of seeds. The dill that I took off, I grew dill a few years ago, and then it eventually went to seed and I harvested them. So I might try those at some point. I think these are, I got a little munchkin pumpkin from the supermarket. I kept the seeds, thinking I'd give them a go, which I will do at some point. In the last video, or the last garden video, I said I was growing a little plum tree. Unfortunately, my third plum seedling died. So I'm quite determined now to grow a little plum tree. I went to the supermarket and I bought a packet of plums. So I'm going to eat them all. I'll show you how you prepare the seed, put it in the fridge, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll grow. And I think this time I might try something different. I'll probably get some really good seedling soil. Do you have any tips for growing plum trees or any kind of little basic tree sapling? Leave it in the comments below. Good news is my clementine sapling is thriving. If you can think of a name of what to call that, let me know, and we can name the clementine seedling. I got some pumpkins. I love pumpkins. Last year, or the year before rather, I made some pumpkin soup, which I was really proud of, and I'd love to recreate that. I love colourful things, so I'm going to grow some rainbow chard. Carrots. My carrots are actually doing quite well from my March batch, but these are a rainbow mix, so I will give these a go. But this says sow outside, so I'll put this to one side, and I think this will be one of the things that I sow directly with the kind of glass lid on top. This is spinach that I grew in 2020. It went to seed and I kept the seeds, so I thought I would have but there's I think it's a sparrowhawk up there. My camera won't be able to get a good, or else I'd film it, but maybe it'll move. But yeah, I thought I would have a spinach off and see which one grew better, the one I harvested or the one from the store-bought. And beetroot, because beetroot is fun and easy to grow. This one is just plain beetroot. Normally I get the rainbow variety, but we'll give that a go. And the rest are all flowers in here. Yes! More pumpkins. So I will try and some more pumpkin seeds. This is uchikikuri pumpkins. I grew these last year, or the year before rather, so we'll try those. Because in my diagram I have outlined a lot of space in my garden for pumpkins. But I've got pumpkins. This year for my pumpkins I've decided to grow them up again, because last year I just left them to grow on the ground and they did not do so well. So I'm going to have 2 pumpkin trees. They're actually quite cute. I remember when I first grew them, the pumpkin was too heavy for the tree, so I kind of crocheted a little hammock, and that kind of worked quite well. But this year for pumpkins, I'm going to have a trellis between 2 vegetable plots, 2 veg boxes. So in one there's going to be courgettes and yellow courgettes, and in the other there's going to be pak choi and lettuce. And between them both there's going to be a trellis for pumpkins to grow up. Fingers crossed. And then we will try see what this one does. So I guess a little update on the tiny house. The farmer went to go view it, and he was, I guess, a bit apprehensive, but I guess anyone would be, because it is quite tall. And so I showed him the tiny house, we measured it, showed him inside, obviously the kind of wheel axis, how it would attach to the tractor, and he's also worried about low hanging wires, but fingers crossed it should all be okay. So that's going to be happening soonish. Fingers crossed in a week or so's time the tiny house will be in its new home. Cool. I think later I'm going to collect lots of wild garlic, and I'm going to try and make some naan bread. Bread is quite tricky to make, but I found a recipe in a book, and I thought I would use some of the wild garlic to infuse into the naan bread. And I'm going to make a curry and try and put them together. I'm going to attempt to grow these little munchkin pumpkin seeds, a bit of a mouthful, I have no idea how these are going to do, and if they do grow, I don't know if they're going to bear fruit, but I guess you never know until you try. I think this was a lily that my grandma saved for me. I'm going to sow it and see what happens. As you can probably tell, most of my gardening exploits are quite experimental. So I think these are the seeds, and we'll see what they do. Something else I want to do today is go and investigate all the new wildflowers that come up. Because every spring I see them and I try and learn what they are, and I kind of obtain a bit more knowledge year on year, but then I also forget that knowledge, so I'm trying to ingrain that in my mind, what some of the flowers are. Obviously now some are beginning to stick, like primroses, violets. I think there's one called a bungle, which is quite interesting. Ground ivy, which is a really cute little purple flower, smells like mint. So lily, question mark. So this says sow outdoor from March onwards, so I'm going to try and sow these direct, just because when I was repotting these, they're just far too delicate to do it effectively. So I'm going to sow these direct, and also I'm going to attempt this lettuce. I've had this packet for ages. I think I'm just going to sow it and see what happens. Sweet corn, that's something I need to grow again. Unfortunately, they all died. They started off really nice and strong and then kind of keeled over and died. So I'm going to grow some more of them. My pak choi is doing quite well. My tomatoes are doing quite well. It's good. Courgettes, I think they're doing well. I say doing well. I had some plants that look like a courgette, but the label must have fallen out, so I'm not sure if they're courgettes, yellow courgettes, or cucumbers. So I'm going to maybe just sow both again. Basil. My basil didn't survive the ongoing struggle with the basil. I think I'm just going to, I'll try again with the basil. I might get a bigger pot. Sorry, I was pretty gutted that all my sweet corn just pretty much keeled over. So I'm going to try again, and hopefully with this soil they'll be happier. Last year sweet corn was one of the few things that did really well. I think I ended up with 5 or 6 sweet corn. You can really taste the difference when you kind of eat your own sweet corn in comparison to when you buy it at the shops. So, I think my naan bread's worked out pretty well. And one thing I'll probably do differently is would be to flatten them a bit more. But apart from that, I think they turned out alright. I cooked all the way through, which is great. So yeah. Hope hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't know what that'll be yet, but I'll see you there, hopefully. But yeah, bye!